Hey, what's popping? I'm Kay Roxette and welcome to my channel. So today basically I'll be showing you guys and going through with everyone discussing the Z83 form on how to properly fill it in. As we all know that this is the recommendation or this selection criteria that is used by the government in order when they're shortlisting and everything, and this is what will secure you the interview, right? After being shortlisted, of course. So I'll be referencing the document that was publicly published by DPSA in 2022, and it was approved by the acting director then. And this, I'll show you guys how to obtain this as well as the Department of Labor and Employment also published their own, and then they were kind enough to give us a checklist as well so that you can check yourself and everything. So I'll be going through with everything, and then as I'll be going through each section, I'll be doing the checklist, like did we fill it in properly, of course. So now, without further ado, without wasting a lot of time, let's get to it, right? For the sake of time, I did fill in these beforehand, just now basically. So this one, firstly, first example is occupational therapist. For my post-com out there, make sure that you indicate the grade. Of course, it's very much important to know which grade are you on. And then the reference number, make sure that you write it exactly as it is, right? And then on the department, make sure that you write Department of Health or whatever, Department of Education, Department of so and so. But make sure that you indicate what department is it. Don't just assume that they know. And then if you are currently unemployed and you know that you maybe you'll be able to relocate immediately, then you can actually indicate immediately. And then another example here, I made it for administration clerk. And then just use more or less the same reference. So make sure you also still indicate the correct reference. And then the department, this one is for Department of Employment and Labor, basically. And then let's say you are currently employed but you want to change, right? You say maybe you'll need a 1 month notice, or maybe even if you don't not employed, maybe just need more time to settle in, to relocate, find accommodation and all those things, right? So now we're going to move into the second section, right? You just make sure that here you write your name, here you write your surname. Basically, let's say I was born in 80 something, and then you write your full ID number. Make sure you don't write it like this because this is an error. Make sure that everything is neat and correctly. So it says the date, you have to write it exactly as it is. So basically the day will say, well, in this case, I made 00s, everything. So you can't really tell the difference, but this is just an example. So you make 00, then the year I said 1980, right? Then you're going to say 80 here, right? And then from there, African, obviously. And then make sure you, here usually, personally, I just like not to leave any space. So I'll just say not applicable. Or even if you leave it blank, they'll still know that you're South African citizen. But it's safer to write not applicable. Then I'm a female. And then question asks, do you have disability? No. If you don't, but if you do, make sure you indicate, and then you also provide the proof. Then the following question, it says, are you South African citizen? I am. Then here you can say not applicable because I've already stated that I'm a South African citizen, so I don't need to indicate again what nationality I am, because it says if no, what is your nationality, right? Then do you have a valid work permit? So it also says in brackets, only if non-South African. So already I've indicated that I'm a South African, so meaning no, I don't require a work permit to work in South Africa since I'm a South African. Have you been convicted or found guilty of criminal offense? Yada yada yada. And then you have to, obviously, if you were, make sure that you write everything truthfully. So if you had some you have a criminal record or you have offended before, make sure that you indicate and you provide some details, as well as it's safer to also attach. Then for me, it's not applicable. Pending criminal case against you, I don't have that, so it's still going to be no. And then make sure you write not applicable if it's not. And then have you been dismissed for misconduct from the public service. No, I have not. Then make sure you still says not applicable. As much as say it says if yes, provide details, but it's safer to just say not applicable. Don't leave any blank space, because if you leave any blank space, it will catch up with you. And then it says do you have any pending disciplinary case? I don't have that, so that's why I already tick no, not applicable as well. And then have you resigned from a recent job pending? Okay, I'm just going to pretend like I'm a post-com serve. So let's say I didn't have to resign, right? So we'll just say no, and then not applicable as well. And then the following one says have you been discharged or retired from the public sector? There's still no. So this one you can leave it as like this. Then this one, are you conducting businesses with the state, or are you a director of? I don't have that, so just say no. But if you do, make sure you tick yes, and then you provide evidence as well. Personally, I like to leave after this, I like to say not applicable, so that I just feel it feels safer that way for me. You don't have to write not applicable here. It's just me. It's just a me thing, right? And then, so then the following question, the second last question, this also is a catch with this one. In the event that you are employed in the public sector, will you immediately relinquish such business interests? So it's safer to say to tick yes here, because it wants to know if are you having maybe holding tenders or something like that. Then are you willing to stop, basically give away those things, especially. But if you had indicated like the other form, if I had selected immediately here that I'm going to be able to start working immediately, then definitely you have to say yes. You can't say not applicable, right? But for purpose of the example and everything, I'm just gonna make another form just now. But let's say if you feel like safer, because I know other people will say not applicable here because you don't have a business interest, and this question also relates to this one. But if you don't feel like it's safer for you to say yes here, you can just click not applicable. But the most prominent answer, it will be yes. But you can also do your own research on that one and make sure that you understand it correctly. So now I'm going to go back to when it says please specify the number of years of experience you have. And then you've never worked in the private sector, it will be 0 years. And then 1 year, let's say you were doing community service last year, 2023, then you'll just have to tick 1 year. Then here, if your profession or occupation requires official registration. So as we all know that doctors, nurses, allied workers, all of that, we need to be registered with HPCSA. So here, just before writing the HPCSA number, just indicate so that to make it easier for people that in the selection committee, just say HPCSA. Let's say you're an OT, you'll just say OT ... I don't want to write my actual number. And then the date here is the date that you became an independent practitioner. So for people that was doing community service last year, they should write this date if they're applying from now on. However, if you are going to apply during the course of the year while you are still doing your community service, here it won't be a year, it will be some months depending on what month you'll be applying on. And then your date will also be different. You'll still have to write your year, the date where you became you registered to serve for community service. So basically it will be that January. Don't write, because I know sometimes there's a confusion that you have to write when you renewed your application something, but it's actually supposed to be the first date basically. And then it will still be the same because the number usually doesn't change. Then for, let's say you've been an administrator for years, so you worked, let's say you worked 3 years in the private sector. Then in the government you only worked let's say 1 year, né? Then you have to indicate that. So it's safer if you're an administrator, let's say you're applying for your administrator job. It says your profession, because your profession doesn't require you to be registered with the council or anything. So it's safer for you to say not applicable, and then also the registration number, say not applicable. Then now the gag is, don't forget, now be too excited and page. Make sure you initialize everything. Don't leave the space blank, basically. Then now we're moving to the second. Okay, now we are in section C, right? Section C provide the preferred language. Usually it's safer to just say English, because that way everyone knows English, basically. It says the medium language of instruction, right? Then preferably in government, they prefer you choose telephone. I know that with load shedding and everything, sometimes it might be a problem. That is why it's important to indicate 2 cell phone numbers that are working. You can put yours, you can put someone's cell phone number that you can trust as someone reliable. While other people still prefer to put their email as a second option. But it's much safer to put the telephone as it's easily accessible, and everyone, HR will definitely call you. They won't necessarily make the first contact being an email. They could, I'm not saying they won't, but I'm saying the likelihood of them making a phone call is higher than them making an email, sending an email, because an email, it takes time and everything, And then now we're going to move to section D, South African official language. Proficiency state, whether good, fair, or poor. Ne? And then English, are you able to speak it or write it? You can write the languages that you want, and that you can speak or not. Make sure that you are truthful with that. Maybe here I should have made an example is Afrikaans, basically. As I was saying, so basically we'll move from English to English. You say good, good. Then Isindebele, it's good, good for me. Then this is not acceptable. Ne? I should have indicated this is not acceptable. Don't leave anything like this. It's not neaty. It's not neat, and it's untidy, and it's not easily legible. So make sure that you don't have something like this. isiZulu. So now the last one, I changed it to Afrikaans, basically. So Afrikaans say poor, poor, because personally I don't know Afrikaans like that. So it's much safer to be honest when we are filling in this application form, because who knows, you might say you know it, and then to your surprise, there'll be someone in the panel that knows the language that you just lied about. So now moving to section E, as I've already filled it in. So section E says formal qualifications from highest to lowest, right? Make sure that you indicate the university that you studied from and obtained your bachelor's degree at, and just you indicate what the qualification is, that the name of the qualification that you obtained, basically. And then the high school, and then national senior certificate. That's what I prefer to write. But you can still say matric certificate if you feel like that's easier for you. And then where you have obtained your degree, it's actually 2021. Let's say you were doing ComServe 2022. Because of it's that's when you were doing final year, and that's when you did oath taking and everything. I remember once a friend of mine once asked me, should she write 2022 because she only graduated 2022 May or something, but it's actually 2021 because that's when you actually qualified. And then let's say you finish your matric 2017. Basically this is what it means, the years, basically, when you obtain the things. Because even let's say when your matric, you were in matric 2017, yeah, that's when you got your, but you only got everything January or the following year, basically. So make sure that you don't miss this part, because it's easier to miss this current study, and it's very much important, and it can determine if you get disqualified or not. So if you're not currently studying, make sure that you indicate not, simply as that, not applicable. But if you are studying part-time or everything, make sure that you are honest, as this may influence your leave and everything. So make sure that you are honest with HR and everyone. And then as this will, don't leave it blank, basically. We all know that Z83, don't leave anything blank, right? Then are we going to move to F? Whew, this is a lot. We're going to move to F. So when you're doing Z83, it's important that you have a lot of copies, because it's easier to make mistakes. So let's say we said, then now we're moving to section F, right? I know this can be confusing. So it's ask what the employer was. So you were actually hired by the Department of Health, not the it is the hospital, but it's under the Department of Health, as we all know. And then you can just indicate that department, the post that you were holding. Then let's say you're doing your ComServe last year, it will be from January 2023 to December 2023. So you just simply indicate contract ended, right? And then here it says if you were previously, this is obscuring, if you were previously employed in the public sector, is there any condition that prevents you from, that prevents your reappointment? Just say no. And then if you were, if it's not applicable, of course. If it was, just state yes and indicate what's the reason for you. And then the last part, second last part. So here I just say, I'm just gonna say Mr. X, Miss, maybe I'm saying Mrs. ZZ, Dr. E, ne? And then let's say Mr. X was my supervisor. I indicate the relation with me and Mr. X. He was my supervisor. His cell phone number is 012-0000. Okay, then we're gonna say Ms. ZZ was who? What can we say? Let's say Ms. ZZ was a lecturer from varsity, right? And then we're going to say maybe 082 00000. Then let's say Dr. E was a mentor, was your mentor, right? I relate to Dr. E as a mentor. And then 014 0000. These are just numbers. These are not real numbers, obviously, as you can tell. But don't write Mr. So-and-so. Make sure that you write in full. So if it was Mr. Klaba, for example, make sure you write Mr. Klaba and the name and surname. Write everything in full. Don't leave it like this. And then this is the declaration. It's important declaration that you actually declare that information that you provided in this form is correct and everything you acknowledge, basically. So it's important for you to declare. I'm just gonna do that. So today it's the 09/01/2024. Then we still write the initial. Don't forget the initial, right? Almost forgot one important factor. Make sure that your references on your Z83 and the references from your CV correspond. So they should basically be in the same order. So if you begin from with Mr. X and you end up with Dr. E, make sure it's still in the same sequence as also in your CV. Also, you can add office hours in brackets. Make sure that you go through the form and you can use this checklist by the Department of Labor. Make sure that you check all these sections where you fill them correctly and is it everything aligning with what needs to be done for your Z83 form to be considered completely full, right? Thank you so much for your time and for going through with Z83 form with me and everything. And I hope the information that I've shared will help you a lot. And be sure to go to DPSA website and the Department of Labor website so that you get more clarity and get these instructions properly. And obviously, I'll provide the screen record here on how you can get these documents that I was using, that I was referencing to from, and obviously from my own personal experience since I'm still in the government sector. And then be sure to share this video with someone that you know, your family, your friends, someone that you know, new graduates, people that you know that are interested in working in the public sector, so that it can help them, so that they can be increased. This can increase their chances of being shortlisted, and then obviously then from there it'll be like interview and everything. But anyway, this will be a new series that I'll be studying. And then this is the first video of the new series. I'm gonna still share more videos about on how to get the post and everything, on how to download the documents from by DPSA or any other websites if you are for employment purposes. So it will be, I'll create a whole playlist about basically focusing on the employment. So thank you so much. That's what we'll be doing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and share this video and everything. And then almost forgot something important. Stay tuned and take care of yourself, and good luck. Bye.